Hey everybody, this is John Big Dog Wagner coming back at you. I decided to do a video to try to better explain so that people can better comprehend the program at Super Eagle. Some of the things that people are coming at me with, the questions, the accusations of it being a scam, things like that. I don't want to be derogatory on here, so I'm going to just say maybe I'm not explaining it well enough so they get a proper understanding of what is going on. I will say the entitlement out there is real. I've had people come at me and tell me it's a scam because they can't make the kind of money the company is making. Really? Okay. If you want to make the kind of money the company is making, take out your millions of dollars, buy a fleet of truck and trailers, get your office staff to hire your financing, your dispatch, and all that stuff, and then get out there and hire drivers, and then get out there and get contracts to keep all your drivers running. At that point, you can make the kind of money that the company's making. If you're not willing to do that, you're not going to make that kind of money. I have stressed time and time again that this is not an employee job. You are a business owner. And being a business owner, people tell me I'm not making business owner money. Okay, well, as a business owner, you have to put in business owner effort. If you're not putting in business owner effort, you're not going to make business owner money. Now, when I say business owner effort, first thing you have to do is take the time to actually learn what it is you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, that's on you. And chances are you're not going to make no money. Also, as part of business owner effort, you got to be willing to be on the road. You got to go drive. That's what the job is. If you're not willing to drive, if you want to be home every day, you're not going to make business owner money. And again, that's on you. If you're not willing to learn the business, if you're not willing to get out there and drive 24/7, then blaming the company, that's on you. That's what you chose not to do. I'm also hearing things like, oh, they make you pay for your own repairs, so it's a scam. They take money from you, so it's a scam, blah, 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 blah. I don't know what to say to that. I mean, clearly you don't understand the concept of the program. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to simplify and better explain the concept of the program. Okay, here we go. I have often said that lease purchase follows the same slate, the same program, the same concept as an owner-operator. Nobody says that being an owner-operator is a scam, right? So, let's start with that. You want to be an owner-operator. What's the first thing you have to do? You got to go buy a truck. If you don't have the cash up front to buy the truck, what do you have to do? You got to finance it. Call your creditor, call your bank, whatever you got to do, you got to finance it. When you finance it, you're going to have to make payments, right? Does that mean it's a scam? Once you get your truck, you got to get your operation authority, you got to get your insurance, you got to get all your ducks in a row before you can even get your first contract. If you don't have the money to do it, what do you got to do? Contact the bank and get a loan. Use your credit card, whatever you got to do. But when you do that, you have to make payments to pay it back, right? Does that make that part a scam? Once you get on the road, you got to put fuel before somebody, oh, he said gas, you know. You got to put fuel, you got to put diesel. And you have to put DEF in your truck, right? If you don't have the cash for it, you don't want to spend cash for it, what do you have to do? You got to use your credit card. But when you use your credit card, you have to make monthly payments to the credit company, right? Is the credit company scamming you? While you're on the road, you get things like blowouts. Just this morning, I woke up and all my coolant was on the ground. I had a fitting that went bad. That's got to be replaced. You have repairs. Things go bad. This particular truck, I've already put 100,000 miles on it. Things go bad. You got to pay for it. If you don't have the cash up front to pay for the repair, what do you got to do? Break out that credit card again or call your creditor, see if you can get a loan to get your truck fixed. Otherwise, you can't drive it. You ain't going to make no money at all. And in doing that, what do you have to do? You got to pay them back. Does that mean it's a scam? In all of that, my creditor was Super Ego. Super Ego financed me the truck. Super Ego took care of all my insurance and all my whatever is needed to get on the road. Super Ego fronts me the money for my fuel. Super Ego fronts me the money for my repairs. Super Ego is my creditor. And just like as an owner-operator, when you deal with the creditor, you have to pay it back. Does that make it a scam? Now, there are a lot of people who don't make it. And they have 1,000,001 excuses. And they're making a lot of videos, a lot of negative videos for why they don't make it. All putting the blame on Super Ego. Super Ego is just your creditor. That's all they are. They're your creditor. So if you are taking loads where you are not making money, ultimately, whose decision was it to take that load? You have the availability to say yes or no to any load that is offered to you. You also have the availability to go on the load board and pick which load you want to do. So if you end up doing loads that are not paying any money, whose fault is that? You are responsible for your repairs. If you don't keep up with your repairs and a small problem ends up becoming a big problem to where you're broke down on the side of the road and waiting for a wrecker to come pick you up, whose fault is that? As far as that's concerned, Super Ego even gives you the availability to turn your truck in and get another one. So you don't want to take care of the repairs and things end up getting to turn your truck in and get another one. What creditor is going to allow you to do that? But then people say, oh, but they don't give you credit for the truck that you turn in. If you go lease a car and you decide to return that car to get another one, do they give you credit for the one that you pick up? Or do they start the contract all over again? Somebody recently asked me, can you actually buy the truck? Yeah, you can actually buy the truck. Just like with a lease of a car, you can actually buy the car. The difference is when you turn your car in after your 3-year, 4-year, 5-year lease, you have one payment if you want to buy the car that you have to make at that time. Super Ego doesn't have that balloon payment. You just keep making payments until it's paid off. But you stay with that same vehicle. If you decide to turn your vehicle in for another vehicle, the contract starts all over again because now you have another vehicle. It's not a scam. You have to do your part. It's that simple. It's that simple. If you're not willing to put in the effort, you're not going to make the money. I ran into a guy about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. He's telling me, how are you doing at Super Ego? I'm doing great. Well, how is it that you're doing so great? I can't seem to get a positive check yet. Really? What are you doing when you're getting your loads? Well, what do you mean? Okay, are you self-dispatching or are you taking a load your dispatcher gives you? Well, I do both. If I see a load I like, I take the load. If the dispatcher calls me with a load that I like, I take the load. Okay, so what are you looking for in the details of the load when you say yes or no? What do you mean? What do you mean, what do I mean? What detail? I know the load pays $5,000, $4,000, $3,000, $2,000. What more do I need to know? Self-explanatory why he's not making any money. So I told him, you need to know the weight of the load. You need to know how many miles is the run. You need to know how many days you have to deliver. That way you can figure out your costs, fuel things. Oh, that's just a hassle. That don't mean nothing. Really? So somebody calls you and they say, I got a load for $1,000. You're like, boom, let's go. And if you're going from Florida to Washington State, 45,000 pounds, you good with it. Let's go. Well, yeah, that's $4,000. Okay. I see why you're not making any money. And I'm trying to talk to you, and I'm telling you, the money's in the details. But you're not willing to listen. Oh, man, hell with all that. That don't mean nothing. Okay. But yet he's another one complaining about can't make no money at Super Ego. Super Ego is scamming. Super Ego is taking advantage of him. I run into people like that a lot. People that say they got 10, 15, 20 years in the business. They know what they're doing. Well, you obviously don't have 10, 15, 20 years in the business as an owner, because if you did, you would have your own truck and wouldn't be going through this program. That means you got 10, 20 years in as a company driver. And as a company driver, you don't have the same responsibilities. You don't have to know the same stuff that you have to know and you have to be responsible for with the opportunity that's here. As a company driver, they give you the load, they tell you where to go, they tell you what to do, and they pay you 35, 40, 50 cents a mile. Here, you don't even have a guarantee of how much you're going to make per mile. Depends on the run that you accept. But you have your business costs. Your business costs include the payments that you got to make for your equipment, include your fuel to get you to and where you got to go to deliver your loads, include your repairs to keep your truck on the road so you can get to and fro to deliver your loads. And if you're not willing to pay attention to the details, not only will you not make money to go in your pocket, you will not make money to cover your costs. Now everybody says, well, why do I got to do it all through Super Ego? Why can't I go through here or go through there? Okay, well, if you could go through here or go through there, like let's say Bank of America, then you would just go through Bank of America and get the financing to get your own truck, get the loan to start your own business and do it your own way, right? But they're going to do a credit check on you. And based on your credit check, they will decide how much they can actually loan you. And even still, you have to pay it back. You're not going to say Bank of America is scamming you. Super Ego doesn't care about your credit. They don't ask you for your credit. They ask to show proof that you have a valid driver's license, and they check to make sure you don't have a history of crashing 3, 4, 5 trucks a year. And once they verify that, they give you the full credit to start your business. Well, why doesn't Super Ego just pay to fix the trucks? Because you don't work for Super Ego. You work for Your Name Trucking. And Your Name Trucking is responsible for fixing your truck. They are your creditor. And to guarantee that you make your payments like you're supposed to, they do everything in-house. Where is the scam? I don't see it. I don't see it. What I do see is a lot of entitlement. Well, I'm my own boss. They can't tell me what to do. So if I want to go home and I want to sit there for 3, 4 days, that's my business. I run my own business. I'm the boss. Comes time for a paycheck, they get the paycheck. Wait, whoa, wait. They owe me. Why they taking out for a truck payment? This their truck. This ain't my truck. You're the boss, right? Because you're the boss, if you want to stay home for 3-4 days, that's your choice because you're the boss. When it comes time for the payout, you're not the boss no more? You're an employee? Well, as an employee, would you be home those 3-4 days? You can't have it both ways. You can't. It doesn't work. Nobody will make money sitting home on a couch watching TV. Definitely not as a trucker. So the only person scamming anybody, if you feel like you're being scammed, is yourself. And the reason why I say yourself is because you are not doing what you're supposed to do to guarantee that you can make the money you're supposed to make. And that is nobody's fault but your own. If you want to take time to learn the program and you want to put in the effort to get out there and drive like you're supposed to drive, there is no reason in the world why you can't make money. Even right now in the low market the way it is right now, there's no reason in the world why you can't make money. But you have to do your part. And if you're not willing to do your part, you can blame anybody, including the man on the moon. The bottom line and the reality is, the blame falls on you. Anyway, y'all have a good day. Be safe out there. I'm about to make me something to eat. Catch you later.